I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey, and I hope you're having a good day. I forgot to wait. There's always just a little bit of a blurb there. So somebody watching this tomorrow is going to get just like half of what I said there. Good morning. It's Monday morning. Time to get back to the work week, the grind. I have nothing to talk about, y'all. I paid no attention to the news today. Not a damn bit, because I didn't care. I spent the beginning of my day with Little Butt, and then took a little bit of a nap, and I played video games with Satsu. So I don't know what the hell's going on in the world. We can check out news stories, and we probably will. But if there was ever any what's the word I'm looking for? Deep questions you wanted to know from me, now's the time. Shroom says, good morning. I missed that half. I was listening to yesterday's Monkey in the Morning. Oops. Nothing to talk about, so what's real? Sean, you be nice. You behave yourself. Monkey, longtime fan. Don't get to hear you live often. Cheers. Oh, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah, I slept on the couch last night, you guys. I wasn't in trouble. Was not in trouble. I knew that Little Butt, they had to get up. They had to go to church. They would be leaving probably about 10 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't get to sleep until about 5. So it's like, there's no way I'm going to wake up if I'm in my bed. So I slept on the couch and woke up to Little Butt making a really loud noise. She was being unusually loud. Mostly, I think, to wake me up. And I woke up, and Lady Monkey looked at me, and she's like, you can go downstairs and sleep. And I said, no, I can't. And at the same time, Little Butt said, no, he can't. And so I got to hang out with her for a few more hours this morning. God, she's so fun. For those of you who don't know, she's my 4-year-old granddaughter. Me and her, we've been together a long time. She spent a long time with me. There was issues where I was basically her caregiver there for just a little while. And we're just like little best friends. And it's so hard for me to tell her no to anything. And then her mom's there telling her no. I'm like, you let that baby do whatever she wants, which is probably not a good idea. It's probably not a good way to raise kids. What am I smoking tonight? Same thing I always smoke there. It's pipe tobacco in a cigarette tube. Your granddaughter is Load? Wonder where she gets that from. I don't know what Load is. Let's see. Chinese protesters were filmed waving the American flag and singing the national anthem. So that's a positive. Oh, wow. Over there in Hong Kong, or actual Chinese protesters? Oh, loud. She's not usually loud if I'm sleeping. She is usually not loud. She will actually yell at people if they're too loud around me. It's like, shh, let Grandpa sleep. But apparently they were watching TV, and I forget the name. What's the name of that not Shakespeare. Whoops. Beethoven song, Fair something. That is our song. We've listened to it since she was little. I actually have a phone app for babies that's a white noise machine, but it has that on there. And that became our song because I would play it for her when she was like falling asleep, and that would put her out. But apparently that came on, and she yells, oh, that's our song. Oh, that's my baby. I love her so much. We get her for Labor Day weekend, so that'll be fun. She did not want to go home. She actually said to us yesterday, it's been so long since I saw you. I'm like, oh. I said, do you want me to send you more Snapchats? She goes, yes. And call me. I'm like, whatever you want, baby. Yes. That's my little one. That's enough. What's the word I'm looking for here? Enough sweetness. Now, those Hong Kong protesters are disrupting the economy over there by causing trouble for businesses. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know a lot about what's going on in the Hong Kong protests. No clue. I know they've had some issues over there. Let's see. Is there a story right here about them? Nope. That's all right. Oh, look at this. This is a How about some election news? I got to move this over here just in case anybody comes in, then I can see him. Me Too is still a movement, but many Democratic voters say it isn't a top priority in 2020. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. It'll be funny to see how much feminism takes a back seat after 2016, because if they nominate a man, they can't necessarily go with it's her turn. Lucy Oieno, I don't know how you say that, a Democratic retiree in Las Vegas, is a big supporter of the Me Too movement. I don't understand how Me Too is a movement. I really don't. Me as a are you supposed to try to get raped so you can come out and tell people you got raped? Because wasn't that what Me Too was about? Was about sexual assault, people being sexually assaulted? I mean, I don't understand. But she says her party's overriding focus needs to be on defeating Donald Trump. Let's get on with it, she said. Well, she's tired of seeing Democrats damage each other with the Me Too allegations while Republicans act with impunity, she said. It's called party cam. Okay, stop. Her problem is that they call each other out. Isn't that what that movement's about? Okay, this is a Washington Post article. And it goes on for quite a while. It's written by Haley Fuchs. Fuchs. How would you pronounce that? Because to me, it looks like Haley Fuchs wrote an article about the Me Too movement, and that's funny to me. Look, woman, I'm just going to say this one time: if your worry is, oh no, we're going to cannibalize each other because we're having principles, go fuck yourself. You should have principles, you dumbass. You guys are saying Fuchs. Okay, it looks like fucks to me. That's just how I would pronounce it. Just throwing that out there. That's Haley Fuchs. And thank you. Shroom is pronounced Fuchs. That's I would change my name. I would absolutely change my name. And actually, I wouldn't, but I would figure most normal people would. I would be Frank Fuchs. Fuchs or Fuchs. That's Fuchs. Let's be honest. She doesn't get to just pretend her name isn't what it is. Correction officers did not check on Epstein for, quote, several hours before his death, violating protocol. Persons familiar with the case says. Corrections officers has not checked in on financier and registered sex offender Jeffrey Epstein for several hours before he was found hanging in his cell Saturday. Just one of a series of missteps in the hours leading up to his death. Officers should have been checking on Epstein, who was being held in a special housing unit of the Metropolitan Correction Center in New York City every 30 minutes. And under normal circumstances, he also should have had a cellmate, according to a person familiar with the matter and union officials representing facility employees. But a person who had been assigned to share a cell with Epstein was transferred on Friday, and for reasons that investigators are still exploring, he did not receive a new cellmate. That left Epstein, who had previously been placed on suicide watch, alone and unmonitored, at least in the hours before his death. Dun, 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 dun. Good job, dumbasses. Now, I'm not... Again, I want to say I am not sad about his death, and I am not sad about anything else in life. I'm just not sad. But I would have liked to see this little shitbag actually held to account. And it is regrettable that that's not going to happen. Now, There was another story that said, let me see if I can find it. Where was it? Here it is. Epstein's death. Epstein's accuser calls her his protector and prosecutor. Is Ghislaine Maxwell now prosecutor's target? She was the one who went around supposedly fixing everything. She didn't do a very good job, and helped to procure some of these ladies. There's also a lawsuit against her right now. That's where we got the document dump on Friday from. It was from that lawsuit. So I mean, maybe we'll still get some answers. Maybe the victims will get some closure there. Closure is a dumb word. We got to talk about closure for a minute. Closure's stupid. It doesn't exist. Closure is a dream that people who it didn't get a final word to somebody feel like if they'd only gotten that in, it would have made their death better. Or in a relationship, if only that person would apologize to me for what they did, it would bring me closure. No, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't. It doesn't change anything. But anyway, maybe it would bring them a sense of justice. That's a better way to say it. Bring justice to those poor girls that this motherfucker was doing this with, and maybe get the other assholes involved put in prison where they belong. Yeah. Anyway, so hopefully somebody will figure that out. But turns out, yeah, they were all kinds of weird shit going on with Epstein. That's weird. That's weird. Pete says it can almost be a thing, but it's called revenge, not closure. No, you know. Here's the thing: revenge doesn't actually bring you closure either. It leaves a hole, man. Depending on how deep of a revenge we're talking about, it just leaves a hole in you. It's like, okay, that's done. Now what? What the hell? Oh, somebody sent me some video of the protesters. I can't really watch right now, but I can see the American flags. And yeah, it is in Hong Kong that we were talking about. So good for them. You know what's sad? These are foreigners waving our flag proudly. And we have people in this country are waving like Mexican flags. I fucking hate people, man. Fucking hate people. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. I am exceptionally tired tonight. I only got about 3.5 hours of sleep last night, and then about 2.5 hour nap before we did our game stream tonight, which you guys should go watch. It was a lot of fun. Forgiveness isn't for the other person; it's for you, so you can move on and never think of them again. I don't believe in forgiveness either. We can have a deep conversation about that. I don't believe forgiveness is necessary either. I think you can hate somebody for the rest of your life. What you have to do though is not think about them. It's when you obsess. Obsession is the problem, not lack of forgiveness or lack of closure. It's obsession. That's the issue. You have to find a way to move on. And if it is forgiveness, then it's forgiveness. If it's some weird notion of closure, then it's some weird notion of closure, whatever it takes. But Nancy says, hate brings you down, though. No, it doesn't. I hate lots of people. And you know what? They rarely come up in my life. And it's only when they do, I'll bitch about them for a minute or wish horrible things on them for a minute. And then I just move the fuck on with my life because that's how it is. Smirkus says, I've been told the opposite of love and hate is apathy. It's true. People mix that up. They think that the opposite of love is hate. It's not. Apathy is just not giving a fuck. Love and hate are both very strong emotions. Apathy is the lack of anything. Check Your Logic says, yeah, Monkey said that. In fact, yeah, I have. I've said that on this show before. Hate leads to anger. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. Believe me, it doesn't have to. The problem is learning to deal, and we have a society that almost teaches you to hang on to shit. Almost teaches you whether it's we need closure or you need to learn to forgive. Either way, whatever the fuck it is, it teaches us to hang on to shit. And what you need to do is just let it go. And if it comes up, sure, fucking hate it for a minute, and then move on with your day. Move on with your fucking day. That's all you got to do. But people get caught up in it and they just can't get it out of their mind. They think that there's some magic that's gonna make it all better for them, and there's not, man. There's not. I see these people who like in Ferguson, like I forgive you. I don't know if it was Ferguson, somewhere where there was some person shot. I forgive you. I forgive you. How? Somebody kills your child. How do you forgive them ever? Even if you're religious, I get that, that's what's taught. But as a father myself, I could never forgive ever. And, I believe them that that's what they think is happening, but it's putting it out of their mind. I feel like if they actually sat and thought about it, like, this person killed my child, they'd be like, I fucking hate them. But that's just my theory. I don't know what's in their brain. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. What is this? I don't understand what those words are. I got mentioned in a tweet somewhere. It's weird. It's weird when you get mentioned in a tweet and you have no idea why. And then you go look and it's like, oh. I get mentioned in a lot of tweets. I get tagged in a lot of tweets when people are talking about weird fucking food. I can't imagine why. You know what's weird? And I sorry guys, I'm fucking random as hell today. I really am tired. I ate a hot dog yesterday, just a raw hot dog. I was like, this tastes weird. And I realized it was because I didn't have ranch on it. It wasn't a bad taste. I was like, this just tastes weird. What is wrong with this? It just didn't have ranch on it. The last story I'd pulled up, believe it or not, I did pull up stories before we started, even though I said, yes, Nancy, ranch. Anyone in chat want to fill her in? I eat raw, hot dogs aren't raw, so calling them raw is kind of weird, but I eat uncooked hot dogs with ranch. They're very good that way. The beef ones are not as good. They're okay with ranch, but you get the really cheap ones and put some ranch on it. Have you ever considered taking a break from Twitter for a week or so? Hell no. I love Twitter. Now, I will tell you this. Twitter has considered me taking a break for a week or so before. That wasn't my suggestion. And thank you, Prospero, for dropping my Streamlabs link. Yeah, guys, remember, I am brought to you by you. If you enjoy the broadcast, please like, share, subscribe. And if you can, toss some monetary support this way. If you're not comfortable with just a donation, there are t-shirts you can purchase below. Here's the last story I'd pulled up. Angry and fearful. Americans struggle to talk about guns and race. Okay, let me tell you this. If you're fearful about talking about these things, then you're a puss. You're a puss. And I realize there's people on both sides who this probably applies to, but don't be a puss. The room was packed with Representative Don Bacon's his name's Don Bacon. Constituents, half of whom had come to cheer him for his staunch defense of the Second Amendment and President Trump. The rest glared at him silently. Really? 4 days had passed since gunmen in El Paso and Dayton, Ohio killed 31 people. Another bloody stretch that left Americans feeling helpless, confused, angry, and scared. Look. I got to be honest with you. I didn't feel any of those things. And it's not because I'm some kind of sociopath. I feel bad for the people who died, well, their families. But I didn't feel helpless or scared or angry or confused. I felt, well, some shit happens and it's happening again and it sucks, but freedom comes with danger. That's life. And I prefer freedom. I prefer taking that chance to having the government say, no, 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 you can never do these things because we're trying to keep you safe. We're trying to keep you safe. And that means you can't talk about this and you can't have this. And you have to sit over there. I'm a grown ass fucking man. You don't tell me what to fucking do. Where are we at? We've got a problem in our country with hate, and we really got to reflect, the Nebraska Republican told the crowd of about 100 at his town hall here. An additional 200 people were turned away because the room was at capacity. Not bad for a Republican. In many ways, Bacon's district is representative of the nation. It's multiracial, split almost evenly among Democrats and Republicans, and grimly familiar with mass shootings. In 2007, a teenager killed 8 people here when he opened fire with an AK-47 assault rifle. With an AK-47 assault rifle. Okay. At Von Mauer department store, an attack that briefly grabbed the nation's attention before fading from memory, like so many other mass killings. Those gathered at Bacon's town hall, like Americans around the country, wanted to address the tough problems laid bare at the recent shootings: guns, mental illness, racism, and the gridlock state of the nation's politics. But the debate seemed stuck. Attendees were skeptical of each other's motives, blind to each other's needs, and unsure how to start a productive conversation. You can't have a productive conversation with people who want to get rid of guns. You can't. And especially the ones who are like, we need common sense gun control. There's no such thing. No such thing. It doesn't happen. We need universal background checks. You know, some of these shooters have had background checks and passed with flying colors. What do you think your universal background check? I just thought, universal. We're gonna background check the aliens when they come down. And I know I'm kidding here because of the whole, aliens, extraterrestrial. Never mind. Universal background checks aren't going to do fuck all. And trigger locks. I saw, was it, I forget what dumbass it was. Was it Biden today? If we can have fingerprint locks that for your phone, we should have those for guns. I want to tell you guys a story. I have fingerprint. I have a Pixel, the original one, which has the fingerprint thingamabob. What do you call it? Scanner, I guess. So you can unlock your phone with just your fingerprint. The fingerprint on my left finger won't unlock it anymore. I've had problems with all of this. I shower a lot, like 4 to 5 times a day, which has just ruined my skin and has completely changed the fingerprint on my left index finger. Hey, let's have that technology. Make it so if somebody comes into my house, I can't shoot them. And I'm not saying that's always the thing, but you know what else happens? If your finger gets wet, won't read right. You can do all these things. You can. But I've said this before. If you want to stop gun violence, the only way to do it is to literally get rid of every gun, which, by the way, you can't do. You can try. And you know what? You might be able to reduce gun violence by snatching up as many as you find, but you're not going to get rid of it all. And when you snatch up the guns, people who want to kill are just going to find other ways to do it. They're just going to jump in a car and go riding through a fucking party, going in a street party. We have tested the smart guns, Ranting Monkey. A simple refrigerator magnet will bypass the mechanism. Well, that makes Jesus fuck. All right. I mean, yeah. Like, why do you have a bee stuck to your gun? Well, it's not my gun. I stole it and I needed it to work still. Oh, Jesus Christ. And I'm sure you're talking a little stronger than that. Here's the thing. Anytime they talk about this, they love to tell us what magazine size they can have and what kind of gun it can be, how fast it can shoot. I love that one. That one's come up recently a lot. This gun can shoot 500 bullets in a minute. Uh-huh. Why don't you test that? Why don't you show me that happen? And there's a reason they don't show us it happening. Because, well, whatever number they use, technically it's probably true. But that doesn't account for, reloading, and it also doesn't account for actually aiming and getting your shot right, which I realize these assholes don't do, thank God. Excuse me. Like Sweden's grenade attacks, highest in the first world country. Nice. Yeah. Pressure bomb attacks. If people want to kill, they're going to kill. I mean, we've seen it before. And we've seen, even in countries or cities where they have very strict gun laws, people shooting others. It's almost like you can't stop it. Wait, is Sinatra here? Somebody said, hey, Snoot, are you in the fucking chat? Why are you up, man? Yeah, there he is. No, they said an AR can fire 1,200 in a minute. I mean, could it technically, if you set up a magazine with 1,200 bullets? Working late. Why don't you come hang out for a minute, motherfucker? Come talk to me. We ain't chatted in a while. You don't have to come talk to me, but I would hope you would come talk to me. I know I just called you motherfucker. That's a nice way to get somebody to come hang out on your channel, right? Hey, motherfucker. Besides, I'm talking about guns right now, so that's your topic, ain't it? And I'm not saying that that sounded dickish. I'm sorry. That's not how I meant it. No, but I mean, it's a topic that you're quite familiar with and that you've talked about many times. Creepsin can't be messaged. What? Did you get rid of your Creepsin channel on YouTube or on Twitter? I don't know if you did or not, but it won't let me send you a message over there. So let's try just your regular Sinatra one. And if that one says I can't send it, I'll be like, oh, you a dick. There we go. I'm not on that Twitter. I know you're not on that Twitter. I see that. There we go. Anyway, when it comes down to it, this is what they mean. They keep trying to slowly chip away at guns. And this is a cold, hard fact, guys. Cold, hard fact. The vast majority of shootings are done with handguns. Seriously. When you're looking at Chicago and most of the shootings there, they're fucking handguns.
Yeah.
Hey, so how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Long day.
Yeah, you're up late, man.
I'm usually up this late, just not at my computer.
Well, yeah, you're usually headed to bed around this time.
Yeah, that's more accurate.
I just realized I know your sleep schedule.
That's good, because I don't even know it.
We usually go to bed around 2, and you're usually up around 8. I feel I know you too well.
Maybe.
No,
I'm up significantly earlier than that. I try to take a nap sometime in the day, though.
It's not a bad way to go. Let me ask you something. when you heard about the shooting, the shootings that the other day, were you?
Was there another one, or
no? We're talking about El Paso and
if
Dayton.
there was another one, oof.
Well, there was, but we don't talk about it. The one in Chicago.
Hey, naturally.
Right. But did you feel helpless, confused, angry, or scared?
No, I did not.
Okay. I'm just making sure it's not me. I'm reading this stupid ass article. Look, this is written by somebody at the Washington Post, so you know which way it's going to lean.
Naturally.
But I keep hearing things like that, that when this stuff happens, it makes people confused or scared. I'm like, it makes people scared because you guys blasted all over your headlines as though this is going to happen to them in any second. And you know what? It could. I'm not going to lie to you. You know the chances of?
Minuscule. Absolutely minuscule.
Yeah. If you take man, they're scaring the shit out of people, and there's no call for it at all.
But if I remember correctly, Democrats don't use scare tactics.
No, man, it's something that one dude said they need to start using.
Yeah, they don't do that.
Something they've never used. Fear. Like, you fucking dick. You dumb fucking dick. Now I want to talk about another gun-related story real fast.
All right.
Armed civilian kills gunman, stops shooting spree at Walmart in Washington State.
When was this?
This story is from June 18th. I don't know why it's number one trending on the Washington Post right now. I don't know why it is, but it's from June 18th. A gunman who opened fire inside a Walmart in Washington State, injured at least 2 people during carjacking attempts, was fatally shot by one of 2 armed citizens on Sunday, according to police. Huh. You don't hear about that very often. I'm wondering if somebody found that story and started sending it out on Twitter, if it's like trending over there.
Maybe.
I haven't been on Twitter today.
My trending is Twitch's over party, some Chinese letters, Nightwing, Trish, Jews against ICE again. Of course.
Jews against ICE?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off.
Incredibly fuck off.
Especially if they're Israeli. Come on. Really?
Yeah, let's get open borders for Israel, then we can talk about Jews against ICE.
Thank you, Connor Johnson. Where's it at? There we go. Like to be able to put them up, and I love that feature on Duck Thing here.
Duck Thing.
There's an animated fantasy adventure film from 1985 called The Adventures of Mark Twain. Have you heard of it? It's one of my favorites. I have heard of it. I've never seen it.
Hold on one second.
Sure.
Okay.
I know of it, but I never watched it myself. I like Connor drops in here and he drops a super chat and he asks about old movies that he likes, and oftentimes at least, oh yeah, we love that movie kind of thing.
Never even heard of that one.
How old were you in 85? Like just born?
-8.
Yeah. Goddamn kids. Goddamn kids.
Yeah, now, indeed.
Did you see the Twitch's over party?
I just saw that it was trending. I don't know what it's about or anything.
Now, I don't know if this is what it's about, but Satsu was telling me they're holding some of Ninja's money.
Oh.
Yeah, like we're not giving that to you because you're not affiliated with us anymore.
You can't do that.
You
Twitch
can't.
YouTube.
It's illegal. I know YouTube has a weird get around for that because they have that thing you still have to have $100. And I don't know how they stopped people's money in there, and there's a weird get around that they have with it, and I don't know if Twitch is trying to pull that same shit. But you can't pull that with like one of the top streamers in the world and get away with it because you're going to just piss people off.
Well, I guess on his own personal Twitch channel, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
they were recommending like hardcore porn as the first thing.
Who was?
Twitch. It was like recommended in lieu of
Jesus.
this. Here's hardcore porn.
That's dirty as fuck.
It's unusual for sure.
No, that's dirty because kids go looking for that, and then their parents are like, oh hell no. Wow, they're dirty as fuck over there. They're like dirtier than YouTube. At least YouTube wouldn't try to fuck you over on leaving.
They'll just kick you out without a second chance.
Right. Have you had a chance to reapply? Have you heard anything about
I
that?
have, and I have reapplied, but I haven't heard anything back.
Oh, it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's going to be a month and about a week. So.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Right.
YouTube, fix your shit. Fix Sinatra's shit.
Something.
Ah, man. If you want to get my attention at me, or I'm just reading and listening. Oh, somebody's trying to talk to Peter. Okay. Or to Eric. Peter. Eric Peters. God bless. Rebecca says, I've never been on Twitch. I'm not a fan of Twitch. I hate their setup. I hate their forced commercial at the beginning. And you know why I hate that forced commercial? Because it's loud as fuck. Let me turn it down.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
What commercial are you talking about?
If you go watch people on Twitch who are monetized.
Oh, how they show up on the homepage.
Yeah, no, when you go watch their video, there's a forced
There's videos
on Twitch. Yeah.
Oh.
When you're watching live, you know, they're playing and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, when you go to watch a streamer, I should have said, and watch a stream, there's that forced commercial, and it's always so fucking loud. Turn it down,
just a bit.
You don't have to blast my ears out. Yeah, but it was interesting. I haven't seen the articles, but Satsu told me about them. If YouTube decided to keep my money, it would hurt me, you know. Probably more than Ninja having his money kept by Twitch. But if you look at the dollar amounts, I guarantee you they kept a whole lot more money from him.
I don't know how many subscribers Ninja had, but it's $5 per sub. And if he ended at 14,000, assume they kept 2 months of his payments.
Yeah.
If that. Let's smash that into the calculator here.
Even cheaply, that's
times 2 times
140,000. 100, yeah. It's a lot of money. And that's just subscribers, man. That's not talking about any other money he was making. I don't know because I know they have the commercials. Do they get paid from that? They have.
I assume so.
Yeah, so they kept a lot. I'm not saying Jeffrey Epstein was murdered, but I'd be a lot less suspicious if the Clinton Foundation had not just made $5 million donation to New York Prison Guard Fund. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
We read that just a little bit ago, Sinatra. Did you see that no guard had checked on him for an hour?
Wasn't he on suicide watch?
No. They actually had taken him off suicide watch at the end of July, at least last we heard, because a prison psychologist said he didn't need to be on it anymore. But they'd also just transferred his cellmate out, so he was alone.
And the cameras just happen to be malfunctioning.
Yeah, let's play this out. He wasn't looked at for an hour. They transferred his cellmate out, and the cameras were not working. The day after the giant document drop, I'm trying real hard, Sinatra, real hard not to be a conspiracy theorist on this.
I'm telling you, man, just do it, and you'll go, oh, so they are full of shit. There is not a single. it, with the exception of like 2 or 3 people I've seen on Twitter being am I the only one who thinks that Epstein really did kill himself? With the
Yes.
exception of 2 or 3 douchebags who have to let everyone know that they believe Epstein just killed himself, everyone else on Twitter right now is straight up Alex Jones. Everyone's Alex Jones right now.
Jake says cameras weren't malfunctioning. It was a firmware update. Well, fair enough, but they still weren't filming.
Working.
They weren't working at the time. And it's amazing that they weren't working as he was killing himself.
Yeah, weird.
Huh. That's weird as shit. Sinatra, I don't want to be that guy. I really don't. I like my conspiracy theories. Don't get me wrong. I like to read them and watch them and talk about them. But
what are some of the most famous conspiracy theories you could think of?
Oh, like the most
just
famous.
off the top of your head.
You got 9/11, JFK, moon landing, flat Earth. The Illuminati.
Well, the Illuminati is a thing that exists.
But
whether or not they have power is another issue. But
yeah, well,
it exists.
The same with the Freemasons. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about how powerful they are.
That one I don't believe, because I used to hang out with a couple of Freemasons because I used to live next door to one of the temples. We would just hang out and drink beer.
Yeah,
I was never allowed inside, but they would come outside and I'd bring out beer and we would just kind of hang out.
Pete says at least one of those guards will be unhappy in the next few weeks. Yeah, they're going to get sad. Their family will be well compensated, but they're going to get sad.
Well, what's another really famous one? The Gulf of Tonkin. That turned out to all be real. Every conspiracy theory about that turned out to be real.
Good morning, Nuts. How you doing, sweetheart? There's a lot of them that
Pizzagate was considered a fringe far right conspiracy theory, and now look at it. Rich pedophiles is just kind of accepted now.
Well, the way that the Pizzagate one, they kind of targeted the wrong person there. That was the problem. Yeah, Epstein was definitely a rich pedophile who was helping some other rich folks be pedophiles. Man. No, the problem with conspiracy theories is they're really easy to get lost in. And there's a lot of stuff that take JFK, for instance. After Oliver Stone's movie,
anything Oliver Stone said, just take it, ball it up, and throw it away.
No, he had a lot of good points in the movie. And that led to a congressional investigation. And even Congress is like, yeah, it's very likely there was another shooter somewhere. That's not to say Oswald wasn't involved, that Oswald wasn't a shooter. But chances are there was at least one more shooter somewhere. There had to be.
I watched, I forget what it was, some different Oliver Stone thing. And Dan Carlin, which you still probably haven't listened to his thing. Dan Carlin and Joe Rogan tore him apart for like an hour and a half because Oliver Stone just got basic factual shit completely wrong. So now I can't watch any of his stuff. It's like tainted for me.
Well, I mean, he's doing drama with it. So, yeah, he's still got to make it sensational. There's a lot of stuff that in the movie JFK that's just factually inaccurate. What's not is the Zapruder film, the speed with the speed of the shots, the chance of the final shot, especially coming so fast after the second shot, being so deadly. I mean, all of that. I mean, it's just okay. Is it possible? Sure. Is it likely? Not really. So, by the way, YouTube again. Congress approved. That's not a conspiracy theory. Eat me, you fucks.
eat me, you fucks. Here's the thing with that, though, is a lot of credible historians really do believe that there was some other thing going on there.
Yeah.
Whether it was another shooter or a different scenario around the shooting, that Oswald was a patsy. There's a lot of different theories that a lot of credible historians have about it.
Well, if it wasn't for the Zapruder film, it would be perfectly believable what they told us.
Yeah.
One guy shot the president. Okay. Now I don't necessarily believe that Johnson was involved. That's one of the theories. There's a big theory that the mafia was involved. There's another one that the Russians did it. I have no fucking idea.
Cubans
as well. Yes.
Wasn't Oswald somehow connected to the Cubans?
He was passing out Cuban propaganda in Florida. Was it Florida he was doing it? I can't remember. Maybe it was in Texas where he was doing it. Louisiana where he was doing it? I don't know. He'd also been to Russia. He'd been over there for quite a while. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff around him. But the ability to pull off that last shot, that final shot that fast and have it be so accurate, so deadly with a headshot, with a fucking headshot. The magic bullet. I saw a was it a physicist? Somebody, I can't remember that magic bullet. There's no fucking way that it could happen the way it did, especially with Connolly still holding his hat after he'd just been shot in the wrist.
Yeah.
Prospero said Oswald did it. The motorcade was moving slow enough and he was well trained. It wasn't as weird as conspirators make it. When a bullet turns in midair and fires into somebody's leg, or was it his hand? No, it was his hand that it hit his wrist, and it didn't even make it so he couldn't hold his hat anymore, and came out pristine. That was fucking amazing. It was a magic bullet, man. I'm pretty sure
it was either somehow a law of physics defying piece of flying metal.
Yeah.
Or there was a second shooter. Which sounds more plausible to you?
And again, I'm not saying it was a horrible, that it was a big conspiracy, but chances are there was, and again, Congress agrees. And I'm not, look, I've said a lot of dumb shit about Congress, but Congress agrees. Yeah, there was probably a second shooter, just because with what we can see, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way there was only one shooter.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really believes that it was just one shooter, except for Prospero.
Prospero,
and that's why women shouldn't vote.
Look, they should vote. It just shouldn't count.
Well, I think the greatest thing I ever heard it compared to was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in the Balkans before World War I started. There was assassins laid out throughout the whole route. And it was just by dumb fucking luck that they ended up in front of Gavrilo Princip. Because there was already an assassination attempt, and it fucked up one of the cars, and a bunch of people died, and it caused mass chaos. And the motorcade was going to the hospital, and they just happened to pull up in front of Gavrilo Princip, and he just killed them both. But Gavrilo Princip was the killer. But there was a dozen of people placed along the route.
Thank you, Snubberth, who says it was Magneto. Duh. You know what? That would at least make sense. And Prospero says, having lived through this one repeatedly in the years I've lived, I have reason to believe what I believe and get stuffed at Sinatra.
I don't know who Sinatra is. He's not here.
Claxton says the bullet trajectory has been explained. Yeah, it has. I know. And it's a magic bullet. It's a magic fucking bullet. Anyhow, we're not supposed to talk about conspiracy.
Check your logic is giving me shit because I'm not saying it with the accent. Do I look like fucking AOC where I have to say everything with an accent?
I hate when people do that.
Gavrilo Princip. No, it's Gavrilo.
When I was just reading Magic Bullet. When Americans who have no accent suddenly just throw in a Spanish accent for a word, it drives me fucking insane. It's like, stop doing that. You're an American. And
what was she saying? Yucca. You gotta get your yucca.
oh yeah, yeah. Yes. Brian Regan does a great piece about that in one of his sets, talking about that. Why are you doing that? Why is the news lady talking like that? Yeah, it's great.
Brian Regan's good.
It happens a lot on the news. In Ecuador. No. Stop it. What is this? Oh.
Yeah, I don't expect them to say fucking anything in English correctly. Why should I speak their language with the correct dialect?
Right. You don't see them do that. And that's not to be insulting them or anything, but I mean, why? Americans, man. Americans are stupid. I'm not sorry, guys. Americans are stupid. You think that is somehow culturally correct? Stop it. Stop it. Pete says some Aussies do that too. Yeah, you've been infected by us in that case, I would imagine, because we've been doing
Aussies are really stupid. We were playing GTA last night. We were wondering if any of them have jobs. Like, are there even jobs in Australia?
Prospero says, I took 12 years of Spanish and it's a hard conditioning to break. The pronunciation stuff, that is. Okay, if you've taken that and you speak Spanish fluently and occasionally it slips in, I understand that. That makes sense, but most people, that's not the case.
Yeah, most people are just saying it to try to sound pandery, I guess.
It's the cultural, we have to be culturally correct kind of bullshit.
There's 2 fuck-offs in a row, Sinatra.
Thank you, Circus Zero, who says Bernie was a second shooter. He hung out in Cuba and Russia as well. I doubt he could handle a gun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's another one, Prospero. Pakistan.
Oh, God. I hate that.
From Pakistan.
Obama used to do that shit. Pakistan. I pissed off a bunch of people on Facebook. Most of the people on Facebook are my friends and they love me and they don't give me shit for what I do, you know. But that one they got really offended. I'm like, where the fuck is Pakistan? And like, he means Pakistan. He's just being correct in the way you say it.
Ugh.
I'm like, I don't think so.
That makes me literally like physically go, ugh.
Yeah. Like, stop it. Taylor Swift has 500 songs about guys leaving her and 0 songs about blowjobs. See where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I can see where that's going.
Grill and Pete sent that in over on the hashtag MITAM. Guys, if there's a story you want me to look at, or if you want to send in beautiful women with their nipples and vaginas covered, you don't have to do that. That's just my preference. I like looking at them naked too. Wow. And somebody's already been on it. Oh no, it's 21 hours ago. We have none from today. Where's the ass crack team? Are you guys sleeping?
Not doing their fucking job, that's for sure.
That one creeps me out because Pakistan is best called Shitstania. Well played indeed. I'm in Australia, and you're right. A lot of stupid people. I mean, they listen to you for a start. You smegtard. Ooh, shade.
I know you're not talking about me. Oh, are you?
It was addressed to you.
Oh, the only person I know from Australia who listens to me is Peach, and she's definitely stupid.
I actually have a lot of Aussie listeners because of the time of day I do this. They're like up and moving around and stuff. And hi, Aussies. I love you guys. I love all my viewers. Oh. Pete says I have a job, Sinatra. Oh, and fuck you. Uh-oh. Ouch. Man, we got some shit.
But what are the jobs in Australia? What is there to do in Australia? Like, I just assume it's kangaroo fighting if there are jobs.
Well, I know they have a Kmart, so somebody has to work in there.
Do they?
Yeah, they still have Kmart, dude.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah. Fuck the gun-hating ruse. I don't mean to get back on the gun thing, but it's really driving me nuts, and it's going to be driving me nuts for a while because the the Democrats are not going to let this go. We're going to have to talk about this at least for another couple of weeks. But at least I would have some respect for them if they just admit what they want to do. They keep talking. No, we don't want to take your guns. Yes, you do. Stop it. Yes, you absolutely fucking do. Stop it. You can sit there and no, we just need common sense gun reform. Well, what is it? What is it that you want to do that's going to stop what's happened? These things that have been tried and have never worked. Thank you, Miles, who says, "Hey, Monkey, just want to say your show always makes my day. Love your work. Also, just saw Trisha Paytas video. Hot. I'm not familiar, but I'll is it on the YouTube? Who's wait? That name sounds familiar.
It does.
Okay, now I got to look it up. Damn it,
Trisha Paytas. Oh,
there she is. Whoa.
ew.
Oh, I know her. Why do I know her? Didn't she get in trouble for some shit? She has the Aaron Carter situation. That picture there, I know that face, and I don't know why. Anyhow, sorry, got distracted there. Where'd that one go? That's
Okay, I get it. You're a train. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, they told me I had a super chat, and I don't see it.
Mighty Balzac for 2 Australian. Says, I'm a professional platypus plucker. That's kind of what I assume the jobs are.
There it is.
In the Great Down Under.
Got nice engagement tonight, so that went up my screen way too fast. Ooh. Thank you so much for the donation, and thank you for reading that, Snoop.
No problem. I didn't get any donations, but I'll happily read yours if you miss them.
Yeah,
you hear that, guys?
Sinatra's Streamlabs has been put in chat a few times by our wonderful nuts. Thank you so much, sweetie.
Our wonderful nuts.
I love my nuts, man.
I bet you do.
Oh. We don't want to take your guns. We just want to enact laws so you don't have guns anymore. You're right, Dangerous. That's exactly what they mean. We don't want to take them. We just don't want you to have them. Give them here.
Yeah, you can have them, but just leave them at your gun club or your country club, whatever they think that people in the Midwest do.
Well, it's even then you're not supposed
I saw you, Prospero. Don't let Monkey fool you. I saw it.
What? Hey, I did it too, but I'm sorry. I didn't. I saw you did mine, and I thanked you for it. I didn't know you did Sinatra's. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I'm so sorry. I didn't see that you'd done that. I'm trying my best. I'm a cripple who's had little sleep. Is it okay to use the cripple card in that instance? No.
If I don't get to use the neurological problem card, you don't get to use the cripple card.
You should be allowed to use that. Speaking of which, I'm going to take my meds right now, which should kick in about an hour, which is when I hope to be done. Because, I didn't sleep where the fuck last night, man.
Welcome to my every night.
Well, it's like that for me every night, too. But usually I wake up because of pain, and waking up yourself is a little different than somebody else waking you up.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, man.
So you live in a country where AOC is a congresswoman. You should look at your own retardation first. That's Brooklyn's retardation, not mine.
That's New York, yeah. New York and California don't count.
Yeah, if you look at New York, California, and Florida as a representation of America, you're not getting the big picture.
Next, they'll be saying they don't want to ban Oktoberfest while also banning beer. Next, they're coming after speech, and they've already started it. Man.
Did you see Crenshaw double down on his red flag laws?
No.
It's very disappointing. He put out a statement where he's like, "This is all I'm gonna say on the issue. We need to keep the guns away from the mentally unstable, and if we find out, and I don't remember what he's saying verbatim, so just kind of giving you the gist of it.
Fair enough.
And if we find someone who's mentally unstable, we need to be able to take the guns away from them. Like, oh yeah, without any due process or anything like that, just go to their house in the wee hours of the morning, bang on the door, and then take them. Really?
The
Let me pull it up.
I understand the idea behind red flag laws, but what you just said, due process, man. Due process is a thing, and it should be a thing. And I understand because we've been talking every time there's one of these shootings, somebody has to say, well, what about the mentally ill?
When you buy a gun, on the sheet that you fill out, and you do fill out a sheet unless it is a private sale between two consenting adults, which is legal, you do fill out a form when you buy a gun from a store. And one of the check boxes on it is, are you now or have you ever been functionally mentally disabled? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you click yes, they don't sell you the fucking gun.
Well, the red flag laws, they're the kind of thing dumb people come up with to make other dumb people feel safe. Like, look, man, if you think somebody's kind of out of it, we can just take their gun. That's not how our laws are supposed to work.
That is the exact opposite of how our laws are supposed to work.
And that's why I said,
why don't we just ban killing? Then all the killing will stop magically. There's a city by my house that has a pit bull ban. You are not allowed to own a pit bull in this city, right?
Mm-hmm.
But guess what the number one headline I saw when I woke up this morning? Pit bull in this city mauls 2 people, 1 woman, 85 years old. Bans don't fucking work, no matter how macro or how big. They don't fucking work.
Parkland happened even though you can't have guns in schools.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not one of those people who think, you ban a gun from schools. That just means people are going to, the killers are going to have them. I don't think that many people target schools. And that's why if you want to ban guns from schools, do it, but it's not going to do anything. And I kind of hoped that they would understand that after it happened again, but they don't. So, time to unban them. No, the idea of a red flag law, I get it, and that it's because they have no other way to. You can lie, no, I've never been mentally ill. But the red flag, you can call that on anyone. You can call that on anyone.
Yeah, dude. You or I could get, because I don't know about you, but I've been doxxed and whatever. Mm-hmm. So people can find my information. They could call my local PD and be like, this guy lives here. He's a real piece of shit. I know he has guns. I think he's planning to hurt someone. Click. And then the police are going to come to my house and try to take my guns.
Don't ban murder.
And by the way, here's the misconception of it. The confiscation order has to get approved by a judge, but you don't get to fight it.
That's the problem. Due process of law. Where the hell is it?
And you might get a day in court within 2 or 3 weeks, and they could decide that we're going to keep your property from you for up to a year. Then you can get another day in court.
Hang on a second here. Sorry. Yeah, and that's the issue right there. Is that they can take it for a year, and I'm assuming that you can't buy another one during that time.
No,
So
you're on a list. You probably won't be able to buy another one. Period.
so what happens when a neighbor who just doesn't like the fact that you have guns calls?
If
There's a lot of people who think just if you have guns, especially if you have more than one, that shows there's a problem with you.
I don't know how my neighbor would know I have guns, but I get what you're saying.
There's been
Taking them in and out of the car, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, or like if you live where I do, I could go shoot in my backyard.
Oh, I'm coming over.
That's why there's so many deer here, is because nobody hunts where I live, even though there's a beautiful stretch of forest right out there. James Colley, thank you so much. Who says millions of Jews died without guns? Checkmate.
And now they're protesting against ICE. See how far they've come?
We've talked about that before too. I don't know how much guns would have helped the Jews, but they certainly would have helped some. Hey Dax, how you doing, man?
Pretty good.
Long time no speak. How you been?
Oh, lots and lots of problems at work, but I'm not going to talk about that. I got a day off, so fuck work.
I agree. Fuck work. Them bitch ass jobs.
Yeah, that's that thing I really wish I could quit.
That bitch ass job. Yeah, man. Look, if I wasn't crippled, I would have one of them bitch ass jobs, because I guarantee they pay more than this does.
Yeah, but the effort you got to put into it, though.
I miss working. I do.
I know how you feel. Yeah, definitely.
I could do without it for a year, and I'd be happy.
You know, when I was working, I always thought, man, I can't wait to retire. I wish I didn't have to work. And even if I wasn't crippled, it starts to get to you. It starts to get to you that you're like homebound. That you're. When I had my first surgery, I had problems with my left arm. I couldn't use it real well, but I could have went to work, and I actually did go back to work. And it was because I was like, I need a job. I need to go do something. I need purpose. And this gives me purpose. That's one of the things that I do love about this. Otherwise, I'd probably just be watching TV and playing video games, which I kind of do too. But
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't that like part of your job, playing video games?
it is. But when it becomes a part of your purpose, it's different. When me and Satsu go to play games, it's like, this is to hopefully entertain people. So that's a little different than, I just need to beat this level, you know?
I can get that. I mean, if you're doing it every day, all day, it tends to grate on you after a while.
Yeah, it's like, oh God, I wish. And I really do like working. You know what? I don't like working so much as I like going and talking to people and hanging out and fucking with management. Dan Crenshaw was trying to explain the red flag stuff on this week's Crowder. Oh, was he a guest on there? I have to check that out.
Yeah,
I
it was.
wonder-
It was pretty good, actually.
I wonder if Crowder was agreeing with him.
I wouldn't. Well, I don't know. I don't know how Crowder feels about that.
You would think Crowder, being the guy he is, would be, that is infringement. Any kind of red flag law is direct infringement of your Second Amendment right.
Goddamn right it is.
Did Crowder say that? I assumed you watched it, Dax.
I did, but I don't remember exactly what he said. As far as I know, he's all for it being a Second Amendment thing, and they shouldn't be touching us.
Yeah, that's what I would be curious was to how Crowder reacted to Crenshaw doing that.
Becca in chat says, nope, Crowder pushed back a little.
That's good. At least he did that.
Yeah.
I know James Alsop, and I know people like whinge when you say his name, but I know James Alsop put out a video about Crenshaw, and Crenshaw responded to it, and Also, just tore him apart.
Crenshaw's good on some stuff, but well, it's like Trump. Trump, he talked about the red flag laws. Was it the day after the shootings?
Well, I think it was Lindsey Graham came out, and I'm really convinced that Lindsey Graham isn't really a Republican anymore, because Graham came out and said that he was pulling Trump on board for red flag law confiscation on a federal level, like federally approved red flags.
Graham has never been a staunch conservative. Never has been. If you go back to where people learned Graham's name was back during the Clinton impeachment, and he was the rational Republican back then. Like, dude, we need to let this drop. And then he'd like change his mind. Like, no, we need to go out. It was weird. Graham seems to be one of those people. He almost seems like he's always running for president. Like he will change his mind based on where the wind is.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those back and forthers.
Yeah, he's a waffler, and I've never been a big fan of him. I mean, there's times where I cheer him on. Like, what was the one where he got? During the Kavanaugh thing, he was spot on during the Kavanaugh thing, and it's like red flag. I was like, oh god, fucking damn it. Crenshaw then posted a video to Twitter to try to clarify his ideas. It was lame, says Becca.
Yeah, he did not help himself at all with that Twitter video.
I just started following Crenshaw, and like I said, I haven't been on Twitter at all today, and the last couple of days I've been having. Is it wrong to say I've been having fun with the Jeffrey Epstein thing?
Not at all. I mean, despite what happened and what we all think happened, it's still justice in some way, small way.
Jack Gunsky says red flag laws are popular among Republicans because it sounds like a good idea if you don't think about it, and Republicans are too spineless to stand up for real conservative values.
Harsh, but probably true.
Definitely true.
No,
this was good.
Not true. I get what you're saying, and you're absolutely right about them not standing up for real conservative values, but they're doing this one because of the mental health thing that we hear all the time, and they think this is how you fix it. You're right. If you don't put any thought into it, it sounds like a great idea, but I do believe most of them at least think it's a good idea because every time this happens, instead of blaming guns, Republicans blame mental health.
Maybe we should open up asylums then. Bring those back.
That was my thing. If you think somebody is so dangerous that you're going to take away their weapons, they should be so dangerous you need to lock them up.
Mm-hmm.
Take away their ability, their freedom, basically, and then try them for it. You can't due process, motherfuckers. Constitution. Do you know what it is?
Dude, we are so far from what the founding fathers wanted. I wonder if we are ever.
Well, in fairness, the founding fathers did want us to be able to change as we needed to. That was part of it. I mean, that's why we have the ability to write amendments. But the problem is we don't do it the right way. That's the problem. You're right. We are so far away from what they built. But I mean, that's why there's the ability to change it. But it's supposed to be done a specific way. We still have state hospitals. I'm sending 2 to 3 points a week to the local one.
Patients?
Is that what it is? Okay. Well, no,
Yeah.
We don't have asylums anymore, though. They got rid of those.
Yeah, you have your little psych ward at a hospital, but you don't have the insane asylums anymore.
Right.
We need to bring those back. You know how many homeless people are on the streets because they're fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Do you know how many suicides, shootings, mass incidents like Dayton and fucking El Paso? Homeless people. You know how you can solve all four of those problems like that? Bring back asylums. I guarantee you, the homeless population will drop. Suicides will drop. Shootings and mass violence and shit like that will drop in an instant if you open those up and put them to use the way they should be.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to do that because now look, I'm not going to say that the asylums that they had weren't mismanaged.
One flew over the cuckoo's nest.
We had some problems, but we threw the baby out with the bathwater on those things.
Nothing is perfect,
right?
But having asylums run incorrectly is still better than not having asylums at all. And I think this is something that really needs to be brought back into the discussion, because we have something like 40,000 suicides a year. 40,000 people a year we're losing to suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why can't we address why that is? Drugs, certainly a big part of it. Hopelessness, joblessness, demographic change, taking away business opportunities. There are so many things to discuss around such a simple issue. And one of the big solutions to that would be opening a house for people who are not okay in the head.
We have a lot of people in chat talking about the asylum things, both for and against. I don't know if I'm actually for them. I know you are, Sinatra.
I think they need more kind of oversight. Might be a good thing, considering that back in the day you really didn't have a whole lot. It was just a place where you sent the crazies, and then society forgot about everybody that was in there, so it was okay. But I think with more public eye and more funding to it and better management, it might work better this time around, maybe. I mean, it wasn't a complete failure before.
Not a complete failure.
We know there's a problem. That's the issue. And you know what? I will tell you right now, I don't have all the fixes. I have a lot of ideas, don't get me wrong, but for this one, I don't know. I really don't, because taking somebody's freedom away when they haven't done anything, I have a problem with that. It's similar to the red flag laws.
Well, you can have your freedom taken away now,
Sure,
with people around you when you haven't done anything, if they assume that you're crazy.
Yep.
You call, you get taken to a hospital, they keep you in there for 72 hours involuntarily.
And that's the thing. That's I have a problem with that.
And that's fine, but you know what? Take them to court. Have the court prove they're crazy. I'm sure it would be pretty easy to do if someone was so out of their fucking mind that they couldn't function in society. They could prove that in a court pretty simply. You think that if Nicholas, what was his name? Nicholas Steele, Elliot Rodger, any of them went to court to try to prove they weren't crazy? Do you think if they played that Elliot Rodger manifesto in court, any rational, sane thinking judge would go, no, he's perfectly okay?
Yeah, and I get that. I do. But for this is a struggle.
Cruz, thank you.
A struggle I have inside me. Again, if they haven't done anything wrong, just saying stupid shit is not doing anything wrong. Well, you're crazy shit.
No, that's true. But that is how you prevent mass shootings and shit like that. That's how you prevent suicides. That's how you prevent random acts of violence.
Unless you're Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes. Well, Jeffrey Epstein had billionaires on his ass, so he wasn't getting away any way you cut it.
Yeah, he had different problems. Yeah, Sinatra, I understand everything you're saying. And I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, but I keep coming back to I have a problem locking somebody up who didn't do anything wrong. And you know what? Especially like when you talk about the homeless, it would probably be better for them. Undoubtedly be better for them.
Homeless people commit acts of violence every day to get sent to jail so they could be in in 4 walls and 3 hots and a cot.
Right. Sorry
And-
about the tapping, guys.
And Prospero, I see you out there. They're a victim of their own mental illness. Well, if they're not getting help for it, what else can you do? They'll get the treatment they need in a hospital.
Hopefully. Well, and again, that was part of the problem before, is that they weren't. They were being experimented on. They were being abused in many cases. But that, again, baby out with the bathwater thing, right? It's like, we have a problem here, so we need to stop all of it. You know, we do that. Americans do that. You know, we have a little problem, and we just like, we got to stop everything. You really don't.
Except that idea that we got to be the police for everything. Everything that's wrong, we got to control. We got to manage. We got to keep it in a tight little compact ball that we can carry around in our pockets.
I want to point out that the Ass Crack team is finally doing their job over there. And dear gosh.
Cracked says, there is a woman near where my wife works who is commonly seen eating pigeons raw.
Dear Christ.
There is a dude who is around my area. All he done, and this is not an exaggeration, all he does is he walks around with a lawnmower singing old rock songs, yelling at garbage cans.
Okay, somebody like that, do you think they should be locked up?
I think that they are less of a danger to themselves or others in an asylum. Because I know for a fact that most businesses around here, he is trespassed on because he gets violent for no reason.
What about if it was more voluntary?
How do you mean?
Well, like that guy. It's like, look, you can either stay out here being a weirdo, or you can come in here and we can try to help you.
Yeah, that would be fine. I mean,
do you think it would work though? That's my issue with that solution is I'm not sure it would work.
I know a lot of people would take that offer up for sure. But those are the people I'm talking about. The people who get violent, act out. Yes, you can't do anything to them if they haven't done anything. That's a violation of your due process.
Right.
But once you have, I think it's pretty easy to parse out the people who are a little fucked up in the dome piece.
Oh, excuse me, guys. Man, whew. My medicine's kicking in faster than it should. They try that now, doesn't work. Yeah, I know. That was my thought there, Eagles, because I do know that they have voluntary outpatient
rehabs. They have voluntary rehabs and outpatient facilities.
And there's people who's like, you know what? Okay, you've annoyed me, so I'm done. KSR of old says slippery slope Sinatra. That's why I have trouble just getting on board. And I understand. Look, I understand every argument you made. It's just that's hard.
And I know it is a really tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But tell me I'm wrong. Tell me reopening asylums and committing people involuntarily after they have acted out wouldn't reduce mass shootings, wouldn't reduce suicides, wouldn't reduce the homeless problem. Tell me it wouldn't. And no one in the chat can really tell me that.
Hi, Jack.
Hi. I had to come on to defend myself. What those trash cans did to me is none of your concern.
How you been, man?
I'm having a long day. It's been pretty mixed bag. But
I feel you.
You know, it's just one of those things. But no, I've heard you guys talk about mental illness, had to jump in. Actually can't stay real long. I gotta get up early tomorrow. But
gotcha. Now you've worked with people like this, right?
Yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts here?
I think
real quick before you do. Thank you, James Colley, who says the homeless have been victimized since before Jack the Ripper's time. I say we take the good with the bad. Anyway, you were saying.
Back in the old days, there used to be buildings called poor houses. If you were incredibly poor, you went to live in these facilities rather than being homeless. And a lot of those were essentially communal farms.
Mhm.
You had to do something around the house. It was usually right outside the city. They had farmland where you could grow your own fruits and vegetables, that sort of thing, wells. And those worked really, really well for decades. And that's where like the average person would go if they were transitioning. And rather than living on the street, you would go live at the poorhouse, and then you could work a regular day job, come home and help out around the place. And usually the women who didn't work were doing laundry or whatever, but everybody contributed, and they were segregated, men on one side, women on the other, unless you were married. That prevented any little additional freeloading accidents. But mental institutions largely went away due to poor funding. That people started objecting to them, and they cut the funding, which led to a lot of the problems that you saw there. A lot of institutions, from what I understand of it, were actually pretty well maintained and tried really hard. The problem is they didn't understand mental illness like we do now.
Mhm.
Like, they didn't have a full understanding because the technology wasn't there. They did atrocious things, don't get me wrong. Lobotomies were the wave of the future, and it just made people's drooling piles of nothing.
Right.
I mean, we could use a couple of those.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know plenty of people that are like that before the lobotomy.
Yeah.
But I've met some people that had lobotomies, and they ain't right.
Right. Yeah.
But-
I've met one, and yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it's sort of like severe traumatic brain injury, because it's effectively what it is, or carving out a piece of your brain. There are people that can function fine like that, don't get me wrong. I think, unfortunately, people that are severely mentally ill, from my experience working with them for 5 years, are incapable of making the decision to institutionalize themselves unless they are on medication.
So what about a sponsor program then? What do you think that would work?
I don't know. Yeah, Prospero, I know the ACLU went after the institutions in the 80s, and I think that was in large part a mistake. There are constitutional arguments, but when people can't take care of themselves and they're a danger to others, you really are not taking care of society by letting them wander the streets.
Thank you. That's what I've been saying, is these people are not only a detriment to the people around them, but they are not helping society as a whole.
Yeah.
Do you think that crazy bitch who eats pigeons and this fucking weird fuck who yells at trash cans is paying taxes? Do you think they're feeding anything into the system that they constantly take out of? Absolutely not.
It's not even that. It's that they're a danger to themselves. They're going to walk into traffic. They're going to start problems that they're not aware they're starting.
Trash can guy does. He gets violent often. I actually kind of showed him I was carrying, and I didn't tell anyone the story, but I was bringing in the trash cans one day after I just got home, and I carry my pistol on me always. I am never without it. And the dude starts yelling at the trash cans. And then my dog came to the door and he started pointing. I was like, dude, you need to back the fuck away now. And I kind of pulled up my shirt and he just kind of got scared and got away.
1 second, real quick. Thank you, James Colley. AOC's theme song, Lobotomy. I don't know how to sing that.
The problem that you run into is that a lot of mentally ill people do not realize that they are in danger or that they are causing danger.
Yes.
Because they're incapable of recognizing that. So they will create a situation that they don't realize they're creating the situation. They are so screwed up in the head that they do not recognize that what they're doing is dangerous to somebody or scary or anything like that, which then puts them in danger because they don't realize that this other person is getting on edge. And that's how a lot of people like this get hurt or end up hurting others.
Let me ask this, because I do understand the constitutional questions there. But the constitutional question comes down to due process. But the Congress also, I mean, the first part of Section 8, where they list the powers of Congress, is to provide for the general welfare.
Exactly. That's where the conflict really arises. Do you put the individual right to be a lunatic who's dangerous to others above the safety of other people. And
Artificial duality in chat is bringing up and I'm sorry, artificial. I don't know you, but your argument is fucking dumb. Are we going to take away rights of the disabled or the retired? No, the disabled already have a limited set of rights that they can have. They can't perform the Second Amendment. They can't perform. I don't think they can vote. There's a lot of stuff they already can't do.
if I may, it's not whether or not they're being productive in society, it's whether they're hurting society as a
danger.
Whole.
Yeah.
Are they dangerous to other people? Because, I mean, we lock up serial killers, and a lot of them have jobs. But we frown on murder and eating people as a general principle.
I should stop it then.
So
shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Well, that was my problem, or my point there. If we have somebody, take a pigeon eater, and they go before a judge, and the judge goes, "Yeah, pigeon eater's got to go to a home. He's a danger." Then due process, as long as he has a chance to argue for himself, isn't that satisfied?
But that's the thing. That's why I said any reasonable person could look at pigeon eater, Elliot Rodger,
Right.
and trash can, angry at trash man, and go, okay, yeah, you are a net negative to society. You are a danger to yourselves. You're a danger to others. We have seen, and you need to stay somewhere where you cannot hurt anyone.
And you're not saying they shouldn't be taken care of. I think that's a thing we're missing.
Oh,
here.
sure.
They absolutely deserve the best care we can provide for them, which again goes back to my argument is that it needs to be better funded, better oversight.
Exactly. If you take someone who is mentally really fucked up and you put them in a place where they can they have no choice but to take their medicine and do the stuff they have to do, that is a good thing.
The problem when they shut the institutions down was that they assumed outpatient therapy would work. What they didn't take into consideration was that people voluntarily stop taking their meds.
Right.
Because they don't like the way it feels when they take the meds. They complain about things like, it feels weird or the perception changes as Monkey pops his meds.
Just let it happen.
No, there are a lot of people that are especially homeless that do not want to take their medication. It makes them feel weird or it makes them feel ill or things like that. They complain about that. I've heard these complaints and I understand that because their brain chemistry has been screwed up for so long. That's what feels normal. Or they just don't like the physical side effects of the medication. And those are people we kind of have to look out for.
Crack says the VA does stuff like this with veterans now. Start with their model and improve on it. I think the general welfare argument is very touchy, but I think it can be used. And if it's done right, I think Sinatra's right, and it's a net positive for society to not have these people out there just free. I hate to say that as an American, but when we're talking about the health and safety of everyone else, and you got this crazy motherfucker out there eating raw pigeons, would anybody be surprised if that one guy lost his fucking mind and killed someone?
I knew this argument was going to come.
What's that?
Okay, Sanut. So I, as a doctor, have decided you need to be put in a state hospital because you act weird, mainly because you hold conservative views. That's not what I'm talking about.
That's not how the system works anyway.
I don't mean conspiracy theory fucking opinions you disagree with. I mean people like Pigeon Eater, Angry at Trash, and Elliot Rodger who have a clear problem that any reasonable person could see, which is why it gets taken in front of a judge. The judge decides if you are or are not a danger to yourself or others.
I would prefer it was done in front of a jury pool of some kind.
Jury's fine.
Because judges tend to not be as well educated on the situation. And if you have a jury of your peers sitting there, they can usually tell if you're nuts.
And I think another good thing to have in that situation would be some sort of PhD in psychology like that. The people who would diagnose you with a problem.
Yeah, we always run into the problem of is this going to be a political persecution, because everything is politics now, and that is a concern, and that's why there has to be lots of oversight and completely open to the public scrutiny, like a civilian oversight commission, things like that, similar to what we do with internal affairs divisions and police departments. There should be civilian oversight. I don't like the idea of stripping people's rights away, but at the same time, there are very dangerous people that are allowed to wander the streets because everyone is afraid of getting sued by some rando lawyer that decides he's going to represent Captain Crazy Pants and get him a bunch of money and make everyone on their side a bunch of money, and Captain Crazy Pants is still running around stabbing people at random in the shopping yard, you know?
Eighth Year Toast said, if we do this, we need to have more scrutiny over judges. That's why, you know what, you guys brought up or Jack brought up the jury. I would not want judges doing this, to be honest with you. We've seen too many fucked up judges make decisions. Even Jack, if they were educated, judges who just make decisions that make no fucking sense. We had that one not too long ago who let that rapist dude off because I don't want to ruin his career. Like,
well, why don't we get a jury of psychologists? We get 12 psychologists who specialize in different things. Have them be the deciding factor.
I would prefer a jury of your peers, because
that is the main core of the issue here, is mental health.
Yeah. Again, I would prefer a jury of your peers, because, and I don't mean to be mean to psychologists or piss off anybody in chat. With doctors and stuff, sometimes they're going to see what they want to see. Like,
artificial duality says what you're asking for already happens. Where are the asylums then?
Yeah, where are they?
There are no real asylums like there used to be. What we would call sanatoriums or sanitariums. Sanatoriums were usually for older people that were going to die. Sanitariums were for the mentally ill. Sometimes they'd cross over.
No, what you have now is you go to a hospital for a while.
Yeah,
or,
and you do
rehab facilities.
Yeah, rehab facilities are not equipped to handle the mentally ill. They're equipped to handle people that are coming down off drugs.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the same thing. A lot of drug addicts are mentally ill because that's how they self-medicate. But it's really not the same thing. In a psychiatric hold in a tiny ward, there are not that many beds in those facilities, not nearly enough to handle the influx of what we are seeing on the streets since the sanitarium's closed.
Becca, fucking love Becca. Where was that? No judges. They are biased as fuck and can be bought. I work with them on a daily basis and hope to never go before them for a personal matter.
Yeah, and Scrappy's right. Doctors aren't to be trusted either. That's why we need advocacy, much the same way we have child advocates in custody hearings, and we have battered wife situations where we have advocates for them. They need somebody to advocate for their best interest, which can be locking them up for their own safety and the safety of broader society.
And if someone was a real advocate and they weren't some defense attorney, a lot of them would realize that that is going to be the best thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a deep conversation for this show.
Well, it is. Not what I expected for today.
No, I wasn't planning on dropping in, but
no,
it's having trouble sleeping. And
no, I appreciate it. I like this conversation. I didn't mean to make the joke. Well, I meant to make the joke there, but I'm not trying to kill the conversation. It's just, damn. Jack, in your perfect scenario, what would happen?
I don't know. There's no perfect solution. That's the problem. There's always going to be mistakes. There's always going to be innocent people that are locked up by vengeful relatives, and they pay off or frame somebody to get them in there. It's never going to be a perfect solution.
Sorry, I'm reading Kathy here. She says, I think we can all agree that public health, especially mental health, needs to be a priority. I would like to mention that we have a Medicare system here. They cut mental health services dramatically.
Yeah, and that's a massive problem. The first thing to get cut is usually mental health, and that's where we see a lot of these problems. The larger the population grows, the more we're going to have people that have mental health issues. We need to take care of them and take it seriously. And politicians use this as political gamesmanship rather than addressing it as an actual legitimate issue. And anybody that's been around enough mentally ill people realizes that you kind of need to take care of these people for society and those people's best interests. There's no winners by cutting this.
What were you going to say, Snoop?
I was going to say, do you think that the people who walk around talking to themselves all day, do you think that they're okay, that they're happy, that them being allowed to just wander the streets of LA and take a shit in front of some cafe, do you think that that is the best life for them?
Oh, absolutely not. But again, there are alternate solutions for the people that aren't severely mentally ill. There are people that are just kind of weird and quirky. I talk to myself a lot. I'm not crazy yet, not classifiably. But my grandfather, he saw people that weren't there and talked to himself. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Nonviolent people like that should be in a care facility like a hospice or assisted living facility, or in a lot of the homeless people that are just down on their luck could be put in poorhouses, and they can be ordered to go to the poorhouse until they can financially prove that they're able to take care of themselves, because those facilities didn't allow you to do drugs or even drink.
Jack, you said something a moment ago that I think is lost in these kind of conversations. You said not only for society, but for them. And then Sinatra followed up, like, do you think the guy talking? I think that gets lost in this is in putting them away in a care facility. It's not just for society, or it shouldn't be.
An island somewhere, roughly the size of Australia, that we could just ship all these people off to.
Jordan just said, I say we send all our poor to Australia.
I don't want to go to Australia. It's scary.
No, it definitely has to be to take care of them.
There used to be a mental facility on a small island in New York, and there was one in Italy that had the same thing. That was also a TB ward, so almost everybody died, but that's neither here nor there. There should be facilities like that people can turn to when they need it. Instead, what we do is we put them on welfare so that the politicians can control them.
Evolved doesn't work. Fuck all y'all.
Evolved, we love you.
Just not your island.
He's funny, yeah. No, look, if I could ever travel anywhere outside the U.S., I've always said I'd go to Australia. My dad loved Australia.
Yeah, have fun sitting in the plane for 20 hours.
I can't, man. That's part of why I can never do it now. But Dad loved it, man. He was in the Navy, and they used to go down there a lot. I'd always love to go down there. I wouldn't go into the middle of Australia because fuck that. But like the big cities, yeah.
If I ever go to Australia, I'm fighting a fucking Roo.
You can get your ass kicked.
I'll get my ass kicked. I'll do it, but just so I can come back with the story.
How'd Sinatra die? Oh, a kangaroo killed him.
Got his ass
just the way he wanted.
Got his ass beat to death by a kangaroo.
But no, this is a serious issue. It is a lose-lose scenario because there are going to be people who get brought into the system and fucked over and harung. But you got to weigh the needs of the many against the needs of the few. If one perfectly normal, reasonable, able-bodied person gets stuck in the system, but we get 20,000 homeless people off the streets, you kind of got to just take the good with the bad.
Well, I don't want anybody stuck in the system. And I realize it can happen. Absolutely. I mean, it happens with our prison system now. It's the black guy. It's always the black guy.
Wait, it's not?
No.
Just
we found out with
46% of the time it's not.
We found out with DNA, it's not always the black guy. So there should definitely be controls on it. I mean,
Yeah, there has to be a lot of oversight. That was the problem with the sanitariums to begin with.
Yeah.
Is the lack of oversight and the lack of care.
Yep, absolutely for this if we get oversight. That's my stance.
Yeah, I would be too.
Says it won't work. It did work. It worked for a long fucking time.
It won't work if they don't fund it. And I'm all for my taxes going to institutions where people can get taken care of and not be a danger to themselves or others. And the way to prevent innocent people from getting stuck in these is to have oversight committees that review every year the person's case file and interview them, and maybe on several levels.
At least every year.
Yeah.
Maybe even quarterly, just something to make sure that they know that they actually care, they're trying to get them the help they need, and when they're done, needing the system for more than just a checkup, then they can move along and we can move to the next person and give them the best care.
You could even transition people that are taking their meds consistently to halfway houses or group homes where they still have oversight, and that way if they slip up or screw up, they can be sent back to a full care facility.
Real quick, I just want to point this out. Eagle says, "My wife is on your side, Prospero. She's yelling at me." I like that the conversation is going through houses. That's awesome. This is the kind of thing we need to think about, guys. And this all started because of the red flag laws.
Yeah.
The red flag laws, if you're for those, I mean, you're basically, I don't understand why you'd be for a red flag law, but not for this,
This is so much better than red flag law. It gives you the option of due process. It gives you more than just fucking over this specific what's the word I'm looking for? Demographic of gun owner.
Yeah. It's a mistake to go after the weapon they use. There are broader implications here, and it's a very complicated thing where there's not going to be any winners in this scenario because somebody did something awful or horrific even. We want to try and curb that without anyone losing their civil rights, and that's not easy in our system. If we were in the Soviet Union, they wouldn't care. They'd just throw everybody in the gulag they didn't like. That didn't matter. But we're trying to find a reasonable way of preventing innocent people from getting hurt, and that is not going to be easy. And there are going to be people that aren't happy with any solution that we come up with. So
I want to adjust something in chat here. Kevisar of Old says the poor houses work a little. Hospitalizing all people will not and never will. The checkup is what outpatient service is for, to make sure they properly follow their treatment plan. And what if they don't?
And a lot of the people that stop taking their meds end up on the street.
What year did the sanitariums close?
I think the last one closed in like the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, and I'm sorry, James Colley, thank you so much. I am thankful the mental health facility that helped me get back on track. Yes, I'm much better now, in quotes. You seem fine, sir.
I still like the wallpaper.
A quick list on Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to screen share this.
I got to look at another screen now. Oh my god!
Darn!
How dare you?
Work
effort. So here we go. Let's look at the 30s. You're not presenting me, monkey.
Yeah, I'm getting it. There we go.
So this is the 30s. This is school shootings, right? 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Get a little bit longer, but still fits in a page. Close the asylums. This is the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Now,
2000s.
I'm not saying you're wrong with what you're saying, because this is school shootings, right?
Yeah.
Specifically. I think we have a problem there with how we're raising children, too.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but look at the kid that did the how do I say it without you getting flagged? The Sandy place that's shaped like Captain.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
That kid,
Here's another quick look. And again, I'm not trying to imply correlation is causation. I'm just saying it's interesting to look at the numbers. So this is mass shootings per decade. Instantly just goes up.
yeah, and some of that could be you could probably attribute to single households that aren't paying attention to their kid. There's a lot of factors that go into mental illness. It is a very complex thing, and it's not an easy conversation to have. There are going to be a lot of naysayers, but something has to be done, and just blaming guns is not healthy. It is not a reasonable solution. It's not going to fix anything. You could take everybody's guns away. People will build pipe bombs and stab each other.
Or just run them over.
Yeah, or trucks apiece, etc. There's lots of ways to kill people. Dying is easy. I mean, you could have somebody shoving people off rooftops or observation posts on top of the Empire State Building. That's why they have a fence up there, by the way. So it's...
Let's put it to a poll.
Go ahead. What's the poll?
Should we reopen mental asylums? Yes, no.
Give us a 1 for yes, 2 for no. See what the
I'm
audience
putting it
is
on
at.
the Twitter poll.
Well, I want to see what it is with our audience too. And Eric just said, or Eagle, sorry. This is why we need this conversation. It is an important conversation. It is.
It is. It's not, like I said, it's going to be complicated. I think we need several stages of it, from all the way from group homes and halfway houses where they can be monitored that they're taking their meds, all the way up to bringing sanitariums back for the severely mentally ill. And I mean the worst of the worst, because those are the ones that are doing the horrific.
The chat
thing.
is just a sea of ones.
It really is.
Cavs are just going, they're already open.
Kevin, sorry, how many people have been in your, because he said he works in one that opened in 1985. How many people have been in there for 10 years? I'm just curious. And if you have to guesstimate, that's fine. I know there's mental health facilities around here that people can be, what's what I'm looking for, confined to. We also have those for people when they, open in 1895. I'm sorry.
Oh shit! I can't fucking.
Yeah, the two facilities I worked in were both short-term facilities, and you could only be there for 30 days or less before your case file had to be reviewed. There was only one person that was spent more than a year there, and his case file was reviewed every 30 days, like clockwork, with a team of shrinks making decisions with the family. And it had to go through the court several times to verify that everything was kosher and above board. And there were routine inspections by groups like JACO that would come through and they review your files, make sure all the paperwork was in order and that everything was cool. So there are standards and protocols that could be expanded upon that would allow for longer term facilities to be open. And, you don't have to stay in a sanitarium the entire time of like a decade. You could be in there for like a year and they could be like, hey, you're better. We'll transition you to a halfway house to see how you do there. See if you can take care of yourself. People fall down, people get up. That's how life works. It's like I said, there's no good answers, but there's not enough facilities to handle the number of mentally ill people that we are seeing on the streets.
Thank you, Asian Hippie over on the Streamlabs, who says, I thought there was a place for loons, Congress. If not, remember Escape from New York.
I'm okay with walling off Manhattan.
Maybe what we're talking about here is not necessarily not having enough facilities. It's not having enough laws that would require more facilities. How about that, Kevisar?
Guys, if you wouldn't mind, retweet the tweet I'm putting in chat right now.
I already did.
I saw you did. That's what made me ask.
Let me see.
I want to get the biggest sample size I possibly can. I set it to a week, so we'll see what comes of it.
Where are we at here?
Oh god, that's some anticipation. I gotta wait a whole week.
There you are, sir. And like I said, maybe what we're talking about, because Kevisar is, yes, we have them. Okay, yes, we have some mental health facilities. We are not doing things like we used to, and that is undeniable.
We have some. We don't have nearly enough. A lot of major
Yep.
cities don't even have more than a 5 or 6 bed facility in them. You have to remember that the funding for this is very, very low, and it's a high risk for hospitals and jails, especially, which is where a lot of severely mentally ill people end up.
Yeah.
And corrections officers aren't trained to deal with the mentally ill.
No, they're not.
And that's
my cousin.
that's why Jeffrey Epstein is no longer with us. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My cousin was a maximum security CO up in Detroit for a long time.
Ooh,
And he
Detroit.
said that they were not equipped to deal with crazy people at all.
No.
They would just restrain them.
It's not what they're there for.
No, they don't. I was in one correctional facility that had one ambulatory camisole, and there's no way those guys could even figure out how to put it on somebody. And if you've never been in an ambulatory camisole, they're not comfortable, especially if somebody puts it on wrong. At most, they're put in the chair, which is incredibly agitating for somebody that's having a manic issue, especially if they have tactile issues as well. They're restrained in a chair with a spitter mask on, and that is not helping the situation. It aggravates them more, and they see you as the enemy. And that is not going to create any good relationship. And then you're going to have more problems with them later on. And a lot of times, the shrinks in correctional facilities can't either prescribe the medication needed or are overwhelmed with the number of patients and can't see them and attend to them like they need to.
Jake says a what? I'm guessing he's asking about the spit mask. A spit mask.
It's a net mesh piece that goes over your face so that you can't spit on other people.
Backscan says my brother is a prison guard, also make up a large part of mentally ill. The prison guards or
I think
guards
the prison
yeah.
population.
No, he said guards also make it. There was a comma and guards was there a second time. So the guards are mentally ill as well.
Well, you know, that wouldn't surprise me sometimes either.
My roommate wanted me so bad. That was the only thing that scared me. What?
Like, watch your cornhole, buddy.
Was it same sex, Jeremy?
Eagle, the Hannibal Lecter mask is a different type of mask. That's a biter's mask.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's for biting.
Yeah, that's for bad boys who bite people.
Why are we making this a government issue and not a community issue? Because the government is community. People forget that.
Yeah, I would rather not have a posse of people show up at my house and decide I'm nuts and lock me up in some secret location.
Yeah, and
I would be
communities
gone.
can't pay for those.
I think Dax would be the
bake sale for the asylum.
Dax would be the only one here that was out and about.
Yeah, because I have that thing. I guess they call it a life.
Got that job. Just got the notification. Fuck you, YouTube. YouTube, fix yo shit.
I still haven't got the notification, and I'm here.
Jesus fuck. He's on the stream and hasn't got it. For fuck's sake. YouTube, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Don't make me rant about you again.
Yeah, this topic is one that worries me because I did work in facilities for several years, and I saw the way the system was abused by people. Parents that would put their kids in 72-hour holds just so they could go on vacation. Things like that. And that was very disturbing to me. But thankfully, we had pretty decent oversight at the facilities I worked at, where that sort of thing was usually nipped in the bud more often than not. But yeah, I've seen both sides of it, and unfortunately, I've come down on the side that we need to bring back sanitariums for the safety of society more than anything else. And individual rights will probably be trampled occasionally, but with proper oversight and controls and good staff training, we can avoid a lot of that. Plus, it will free up a lot of space in prisons. That's where a lot of the prison overcrowding is coming from, is that once somebody is institutionalized, they act out, which keeps them in the institution. And a lot of them do like the structure, but if they're not getting the medications they need, or they refuse to take it, they are going to act out whether or not they like the structure there. And the guards end up just fighting with them because they don't know de-escalation tactics for the mentally ill, which are different than somebody that's just mad at you. And it's you're creating a perfect storm of problems.
Real quick, Kevasar says, and those children are usually autistic or Downs. No, you were talking about just regular kids, right?
No, they were people in services that usually were autistic or Downs.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But it wasn't always. They have what they call mental health vacations, or what we did anyway, where the kid would come stay for a week or so to give the parents a break.
Okay.
That was different than what I was talking about, where the parents were just conspiring to dump their kids so they could go on vacation, like in Disney World with the other kids.
This poll's been up for 10 minutes. It's accrued 335 votes. I think I asked Ian to retweet it, so I think he did. It is 87% yes, 13% no.
Real quick, also, Shroom asked you, Jack, he couldn't find ambulatory camisole on the internet. What is that?
It's a straitjacket.
That's what I figured it was.
That's the technical term for it, is because you're controlling their ambulatory.
Hey, that's not fair. What if the jacket were queer? You can't say that anymore.
It's a gender fluid jacket.
Yeah, if it's a gender fluid jacket, you're in real trouble then.
Oh, that's a different kind of jacket.
Sorry, I didn't mean to use the technical term. I usually try not to. I try not to sound smart.
Ladies, we're going to wrap up here, guys. We've been going for 2 hours. This has been a deep conversation, and one that is needed. It really is. I don't think we're going to have it on a nationwide scale because nobody wants to talk about it. It's not a fun topic.
Nobody wants to take the liability risk either because it's a massive financial problem when people just sue the crap out of it till it goes out of business.
There would be people who block it. There's so much just red tape. But if we could bench that and just look at the issue, I think that a lot of people would agree. If you look at the straight up issue about it, then a lot of people would go, yes, these people are a danger to themselves and others. Yes, they shouldn't be on the street.
Yeah, and no matter how many facilities we have right now, it's not enough, and that's pretty obvious. Go to any beach in California, and you will see people that deep down, whether you want to admit it or not, should not be by themselves. They should be in some sort of care.
And with that, guys, we are going to wrap up. Chat, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out and for your participation in this conversation. I mean, it's not a fun one. It's really not. But I appreciate the engagement with it. Thank you so much for the super chats. That really does help. It's how I make my living, guys, because I don't have one of them jobs. They won't hire a cripple who can't wear a shirt. I feel like that's what's the word I'm looking for? Discriminatory.
Oh, I was thinking you were going to say fetish.
But with that, Dax, is there anything you'd like to pimp tonight?
I mean, you for some money.
Wow, thank you. I appreciate that. And Sinatra, anything you'd like to pimp out?
Nah, just petition your local representative to reopen asylums.
And Jack, anything you'd like to pimp out?
No, I've probably pissed off half the chat with what I said already. So
that's all right. Hey, okay. Like I said, this was a tough one. It's not something that's
it's not an easy topic. It's not going to be solved anytime soon. It's especially during an election year.
Tonight we'll be on Satsu 2 cents for Lords of the Night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Then we're going to be over on 2 cents plus for some more. What's the game we're playing? No Man's Sky. Satsu's coming to the end of the main quest line, I believe. So come watch it. It's a lot of fun.
Sorry, just Sinatra. What? We're ending. What do you want?
I think he's upset with you. Jenna, thank you so much. Who says Money. I appreciate it. I really do.
Oh, Jenna, I saw that PayPal you sent me earlier. Thank you so much. I don't have it right in front of me, so I can't read it, but thank you.
And with that, guys, we are going to take off. Chat, thank you. Sinatra, Dax, Jack, thank you guys so much for joining me. Everybody, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.
Night.
Laters.
Bye, everyone.